Hey everybody, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. Did you want to do the intro just then?
No, not at all. That's your job. I couldn't take it away from you.
You've got Sam and Greg and Sam, which should we say Greg and Sam? Does that make you feel better? This is going to be a fun episode. Let me tell you.
We're going down this road, aren't we?
So let's just say, guys, we sat down and we thought, what could we do to have a little bit of fun going into Christmas? Now, if you're watching the video version of this, you might be looking at our crazy outfits and thinking, what are you doing? Well, here's the thing. We wanted to do something a little bit more chilled out and fun in the lead up to the Christmas break. And we haven't had an episode pegged for, I'm going to say, like half the year. And I've been so desperate to do this episode. And this just seemed like the perfect time.
And what I really loved about it, like we put out a feeler asking for questions and we got all these questions back and we're like, nah, these questions are so gentle. And so we goaded our accelerators and we wound them up and they started asking us some really curly questions.
So this episode is titled Ask Us Anything. The idea of this episode was it shouldn't really technically have anything to do with social media. This is your opportunity to ask us curly questions. And that's exactly, we haven't seen them all. Can I just say, I've got a Hershey's mug here at Felt Fishing filled with all of these questions, folded up. And we are going to pull some out at random. I doubt we'll get to do all of them because this cup's full. But
so there is one that I did see, and it was an absolute ripper. And I'm actually a little scared that it might not come out.
I'm scared now about what that might be. So anyway, guys, this is going to be a bit of fun. I don't think you're going to need your pens and paper today, but hey, who knows what'll come out. But listen in, have a bit of a laugh with us. I'm hoping there are no tears or punch-ups, but
I hope we're still talking to each other afterwards. That's the main thing.
I have no idea where it could go, but I do want to have a little bit of fun right now. So tune on in, guys. This will be a bit of fun where this is our episode, Ask Us Anything. All right, Greg. So I think we should take turns with these questions.
You pick the first one. Let's do
one.
Want
me to pick the first one?
Take the first one. Just grab. Yeah.
All right. No. I'm going to pull one out here, and this is how we're going to do it. All right. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. I was hoping this would come up. I can't believe it's my first one. So this was from Julie, and it's, what's Greg's most annoying habit? I love it. Okay, so can I say two?
Is that all you've got, honey?
Well, I feel like I should be nice. Okay, so there are two annoying habits. The first one is the way he chews is very, very loud to the point where the kids complain about it, and that really is saying a lot. But you can hear every swallow and every chew. It's very noisy. Sometimes I have to move to a different part of the table. The other one is the way you pack. It drives me nuts. He screws everything into a ball and throws it into his suitcase. And so now when we travel, we take two suitcases, not because we can't fit it all into one, but because I just can't handle the way you pack. But I still love you, so it's okay. Your turn.
My turn. Oh, wow. I'm going to pick, I want this one.
That one, okay.
Now, is that Jan?
Jan, yeah.
What do we do for fun?
Oh, fun. What is that? No. What do we do? What do you do for fun, Greg?
What do we do for fun? Well, we hang out with friends a lot. So we go water skiing a lot. We go camping. We love to go camping and water skiing.
Hang on. Well, you can't call it camping. Greg's a glamper, not a camper. So although that being said, you did take me in a tent this year for the first time in our relationship together. And you survived and it was fantastic.
That was not the first.
Wasn't it?
No. We went to the Blue Lake. Remember, that was the first time in a tent.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That was good fun.
And we slept in the backyard in a tent this year as well.
That is true. We did. During COVID, we slept in the backyard in a tent when everyone was in lockdown.
Yeah.
We do lots of things for fun. We're actually, I will say that one of the things I feel very blessed about is that we have got, number one, such a beautiful state to live in, being that we're in Tasmania, but we also have got a lake we water ski at. We've got water at our house we can water ski on. We have got a family shack that my parents bought when I was very small, and so we can go there whenever we want, and that's fantastic. So we've got just so many things that we can go and do with our family so that, I feel very blessed that we can do all of that.
So my top three values are family, fun, and travel. And so if I'm not having fun, I actually don't go very well. I'm not that productive. So one of the things that I'll do for fun is I'll walk through the door and the kids will have just turned up home after school and I will pummel them and they will pummel me. And we think it's fantastic as long as none of us are crying, including me, because they're getting a bit big now.
They're getting really strong. So, yeah. All right. So roughing has come up. I told you this could go anywhere. All right. So is that a question? All right. My turn. All right, what's the next one?
I want a curly one.
A curly one. That could be hard. Okay. Mel, this is a curly one. How do you both individually overcome arguments in business and who wins? I love it. How do we overcome arguments in business?
Have we ever? I don't think we have.
And who wins?
I don't think we do.
No. That's a really curly one, Mel. I like it because it's very pointed. But, I guess the thing is when you work with your partner, there are a whole new element of challenges that come into both business and relationship. And one of the things that you cannot separate is you can't, when you come to work, go, okay, cool, I'm leaving my problems from home at home and I'm now at work. Or when you're at work, you go, I'm going to leave my problems at work and I'm now going to go home, because they are everywhere. And so we have had to get better. I'm not going to say good, because I feel like this is a journey and we're on the very beginning of this journey. We've had to get better at separating out work and home as much as we can. But when it comes to arguments...
See, that's the thing. For me, I totally can compartmentalize. I have no problem.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, so Sam will bring it home. She'll fester on it, and that'll just frustrate me, because it's like, work is work. Just forget about it. It's time for fun. We're home now. Come and have fun.
I think on the flip side, when it comes to arguments in the workplace, we do see things in very different ways. So, you come in with a very strategic approach, and I come in often with a very creative, new ideas style approach. And both of those, although they work well together, can also not work well together at all, because whilst Greg is wanting to roll something out and get it working well, I'm already thinking about the next cool, fun idea. And that drives you nuts, but when you're holding me back, it drives me nuts. So we often have arguments about this.
So I'm going to reveal something else about us, because today is the day to do that. So Sam is an Enneagram type 8.
Oh, they're not going to know what that means.
It doesn't matter. And I'm an Enneagram type 3. And so one of the challenges of those two personality types is when we get into competition. So when we have, for example, an argument and it becomes a situation of competition. And what I'm learning about at the moment is the trick of actually the third perspective. And that perspective...
There's a third perspective?
It is, because the perspective of me winning or you winning or me being right, you being right or whatever is not the solution. There is always a better perspective, which is that there's something calling us out of that and into something higher where we both win.
That sounds great, but I will just point out, though, that I am like a professional arguer. And, debate team at high school, and I have to be right. It's very
So Sam's
hard.
fantastic at that, and I'm like the zombie that just won't die. It's a problem.
So to be a fly on the wall, actually, I probably wouldn't want to be a fly on the wall during one of our arguments. The point is no one wins, and we do have arguments. But at the end of the day, we're just getting better at accepting that we're both different. We both bring different skills to the table, and we're learning. And it will be an ongoing journey. I don't ever want anyone to think that, because we show up to the camera and it might look like we've got it together. But can I just say that there are times we show up in front of the camera where we have just come off the back of a full-on argument where we're both ready to pummel each other. Not that we do, but and then you're like, great, we've got to go live now. And the two of us just go, hey. And so I just want to say, guys, that this is important to remember for all social media, for all businesses, that when people show up, they often they're putting on a different face. And so just remember that at the end of the day, everyone has their challenges, and we are no exception to the rule. Working with your spouse is not easy.
So have we answered the question, Sam? What was the question?
I think we haven't, but let's move on.
I'm liking that already.
All right.
Cool. So Mel, do you discuss business 24/7, or do you have rules like no business talk after 7 p.m.? So hang on, you're answering that because I'm asking. Is that right?
It's up to you.
No, you answer because I just asked.
Look, I'm going to say that this has been a real point of challenge for us since I started the business. And I say that because when you start a business, and you, as many of our listeners would understand, your heart, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your soul goes into it, and you live and breathe what you do. The problem with that is that finding balance can sometimes not even be hard. It just doesn't even get thought about. And when I first started the business, I remember, and this was prior to you being involved, there was a massive issue where I felt like all of the weight rested on my shoulders. And so I would come home and I'd continue working. I would continue stressing, and that was really problematic. I would say that in the last 3 years, although there are times that are challenging, we are a lot better at this. And part of that came back to me setting my own boundaries for myself, which, as I've mentioned on this podcast before, one of those things is my phone doesn't come into the bedroom anymore. And I don't check emails through the night. I remember that used to be a real problem where I'd wake up in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep, and I'd start checking emails or Facebook messages. And that was always a rabbit warren of problems and stress and anxiety. So, but we have had to pull ourselves up from time to time and come back to this place where no work talk after pretty much dinner. It's like from the moment dinner goes on the table, we don't talk work anymore, because we could from time to time find ourselves 12 o'clock at night still fully debating something or trying to solve a problem. And then you go to bed and you can't sleep, or you're frustrated, or so that's my answer.
Yeah, so it's really powerful to have those sort of rules. As Sam said, she had to stop bringing her phone to bed, and that was a challenge for us to figure out, because when you go through that process and you've got that phone in the bedroom, then somebody sends you a message and it can take your brain into that space, and the phone calls out to you. So one of the rules that I had was that we won't discuss work in bed.
Yes.
And
that was a rule. It was a very strict rule.
It is a very strict rule.
Still is a very strict rule.
One of the challenges is Sam doesn't like rules.
I try really hard, and it's a very good rule, and I like the rule when it relates to me, but when there's something I need to talk about, it makes it very hard. But that was an important one that you laid out, and you also said when we go away on the weekends as well, no work talk. Like from when we get in the car on Friday night to drive to wherever we're going, you would say that unless we section out, carve out a bit of time, like an hour on Saturday where it's just we can talk about something that we're working out, or we might be doing a live or something. Other than that, it's switch on, switch off. And I think we've actually got pretty good at that in the last 12 months.
Yeah, exactly. And another friend of ours gave us some advice about date nights, for example.
Oh, yes.
And they laid out the challenge that if it's going to come out of our special date account, there must be no discussion about the children. There must be no discussion about work. Was there anything else? Or were they the two
I
main
added
rules?
COVID in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I decided, because all of our conversation then would just steer towards those 3 topics. And
there have been occasions where we've gone out to a restaurant and we're like, right, we're not going to take this out of the date account.
We really failed miserably, so we're going to have to use our personal bucks to cover this date. Or sometimes it's a work expense because we talked about work so much. But, for anyone that's listening that's like, what are they talking about? We've got 15 different bank accounts. Okay, that's not true. We've got about 30 different bank accounts that we use for all various different things. It's a little financial journey that we went on. But the point is that, dates had specific rules. And actually that came from Celine Egan, who I know a lot of people in here know, and we did a podcast episode with her earlier in the year on alcohol, actually. That was an interesting one. But Celine did say that it's about making sure that when you get to that point where later on in life you don't have those things to talk about anymore, so you don't have work because you're retired, and you don't have kids because they've all grown up, you still know each other and know how to spend time together. And that's actually been really powerful, having that time. And look, we don't go on dates as much as we used to now, but we certainly still try and stick to those rules. And let me tell you, it's hard because it's so easy to find work and kid topics and COVID topics, for that matter, to talk about.
So in short, we do try to do other things. We do try and have fun. We do try and explore. So Sam has her top values, and I mentioned mine about fun. Sam's is to explore. So we try and put other things in place and protect that time and treasure that time rather than just giving it all over to work.
Yeah. Cool. All right, next one. So this one's from Brooke. Oh, this is an evil curly question, and I'm so glad you have to answer it. If you could choose only one direct selling company to join now, which would it be and why? Oh, that's evil, Brooke. This is the point where we lose all of our clients.
So this is the part where Zara comes up to me and she's like, I know this is our daughter, and she comes up, I know you love me more than the other kids, and I just want you to admit it. And for her benefit, you just kindly say, yes, I do. And she's like, got it on tape. I'm going to go play it to the others.
Yeah.
No, I'm not falling into that trap at all. I actually love all of the companies, and each of them brings something different to the table. So I've really enjoyed.
Such a boring answer.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because
they all wanted to know, is it their company?
Each time because each time I get to go to a conference, each time I get to have a personal Zoom call with people and really connect, there's something fascinating and fantastic and really personal.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be honest and vulnerable about that, oftentimes when you get to the heart of it, those special moments of connection actually bring a tear to my eye when I talk to these people and find out why they're in that company, why they're passionate about what they do. But what really gets me, what brings emotion in me, is how it's impacted people that they're connected with, the life change. And I don't just mean some trinket, tiny little, I mean real life change, real impact. I love that.
I think the other thing that we speak to people a lot about inside of our courses is reminding them that they're buying you, not the products. And the thing that's really interesting, whenever we have a company come to us for the first time and we're just getting to know them, they're getting to know us, I often hear the same thing from them, and they say, our people are a little bit different. Our people in our field are not very tech savvy, or they really struggle with this or this or this and this. And what's really interesting is that their business, although the product may be different, their business in itself is suffering from the same problems, the same challenges, the same issues in the field. And then I've never had a company say that and gone, oh, that's a surprise. And so for me, it's about all of the companies in their own very special way are beautiful and amazing. But the thing for me that stands out is the people.
Yeah, the practical challenges that Sam were talking about. Every company, although they say we're different, typically faces the same practical challenges, but it's the culture. That's what gets me, the culture and the way that they work together and love each other. That just touches me every single time. Yeah. But now my actual favourite company. No,
yeah. All right, your turn. We're not going any deeper with that one.
No way, that was a trap. Oh, do our kids complain about us working too much? Yeah. Next.
Moving on. Can I just add to that though? Oh, you want to do another one? Yeah, I think you should do another one. I will just add to that though, and say that as much as they do, because all kids do, I also think our kids are very respectful in so many ways. We try and be very transparent about what our challenges in business, what we're doing, and they get to see much of what goes on. They're often in the background when webinars are happening, because sometimes they're happening at home or at night. And I really feel that, I could be wrong here, but I feel that our kids are very proud of what their parents do and what we accomplish in what we do in their own special ways. And they're often really excited and eager to hear about what's going on. So yes, they complain that we work too much, but they're also on the journey for what we're trying to achieve, and they love watching that journey. So I love that we can include them in that, and we certainly do.
Yeah. Next question. All right. Oh, I had one fall out. Stephanie, what are your top 3 easy to do dinners? Do you meal plan or prep?
Hang on. That's Sam. Asking me, not you, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to answer.
Oh, okay. My top 3 go-to dinners. Do I meal plan? No, I do not meal plan. I am a fly by the seat of my pants gal. And what I do like to do with...
I'm falling off my perch here.
Okay. Well, she's talking about the whole week. Do you plan your week out?
Oh, you love to plan whenever we're going anywhere or doing anything,
trips.
Or having anyone for down.
100% trips.
Sam will plan a trip out so that we've got enough food to feed an army.
Oh, yeah. Trips, yes. But she's talking about weekdays. And I like to cook what I feel like eating that night, or what I feel like cooking that night. And our family has become extraordinarily busy in the last 6 months. So I don't meal plan or prep as much as I used to. I love leftovers. So I tend to cook enough. There are 6 of us. I'll cook enough for 20 of us so that I can throw things in the freezer so that I've got something when we're exhausted and I haven't thought about the supermarket. But I am a chronic over caterer. And I reckon right about now Rachel's going to stick her hands in the air and go, hell yes, you are. I'm a chronic over caterer. I never want to run out. I always want everyone to be well fed. And so, yeah, it is one of my greatest faults is over catering, I will say. Yes. So meal planning and prep, probably more so just when we go away, but I do like to meal plan and prep when we go away.
So I have a different approach. Sam is an incredible cook. An incredible cook. Restaurant owners come over for dinner and they love to eat whatever Sam has. They just absolutely love it. So I'm
This is
not
how he
I'm not
sucks
in
up
that
so that I
ballpark.
cook.
I am not in that
You've
ballpark.
got 3 things you cook.
I used to have a supermarket. That's a whole long story. But one of the things is that I know that around about a third of the food that everybody buys is thrown out. So when you think about that, that's a standard statistic. And I'm not going to comment on our variation of that statistic, other than to say that most people, when you actually look into it, throw out a third of what they buy. So I have a different approach. I like to buy what I need that night. So if I'm going to make tacos, I want to go to the supermarket and buy the ingredients just for tonight's meal. And then that way I'm not throwing
See,
anything
that
out.
drives me nuts because then you're going to go to the supermarket every day, which I probably do anyway. But
Yeah.
I like the idea of going once a week and not having to go back.
Yeah.
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 But you've got 3 meals that are your go-to meals, right?
And I shouldn't be competitive, should I? So I love to cook tacos. I love to cook steak sandwiches. I also like what's the salmon and sweet potato.
Oh, that's a new one. But your other one is your chicken salad, which is hilarious because
I like it.
He puts everything you can put into a salad in there. So it's got little tiny pickled onions.
Apple.
It's got apple. Sometimes it has mango. It has sweet potato. It has mayonnaise. It has lettuce.
Egg.
Sometimes it's got egg, tomato. Like, seriously, this salad. And the kids see it and they go, oh, no.
Right, next question. It's your turn. You grab that one.
All right. You're telling me which one I've got to do now. Oh, okay. Deb, as a mum, I hated the 14-year-old stage. Are you in that stage? How is it? It's hard. You can answer.
So we're right in the thick of that stage.
Really
We've got all of our kids that are around about that.
We actually, I should
except
talk
Levi.
about. So one of our kids, and I'm not going to name which one, but one of our kids right now is in that preteen stage where they're just starting to get the hormones. So we've got one at 15, one at 14, and one at 12. The 12-year-old I've likened right now to Eeyore out of Winnie the Pooh. And the youngest we've likened to Tigger, I've decided, because he's still just super excited about everything. But we've got one at the moment that everything is, I'm okay. It'll be all right. Whatever. Everything is like one-word answers and just, I didn't have a very good day. It's just, he says to me the other day, because I don't know if you remember, we bought a book about a year, oh no, not quite a year ago.
You just said he, so you've narrowed it down.
Well, there are 3 boys. I mean, it could be any one of the 3.
That's a 14-year-old approximately.
we bought a book that says what is happening to me. So it was kind of like an explainer because, you know, when it comes to boys, I've had no experience there and I don't know what I'm doing. So I thought a book might help. And I said, look, if you need me to read some of this with you, I can. But particularly the reason we got it was because of these constant like fluctuations in the moods that were driving. Like there was one point where I found him curled up in the fetal position because he didn't get the last yogurt for school lunch today. And so life really is tough. And he said, Mum, can you just read this bit with me? And there was this bit about hormones and it talked about all the different hormones that are raging around your body now. And it said, because of this, you might experience a really good mood and then suddenly you just want to cry and then you could be really happy again and then you could suddenly feel very sad again or very angry or grumpy and this is just part of your body adjusting to all of these hormones. And he looked at me and he went, oh, Mum, thank goodness I'm not going through any of that yet. Yeah, buddy.
So I do want to share something. So, yes, we're right in the thick of that stage. And, yes, it can be particularly challenging. And because we are
particularly challenging, I yelled at my mum the other day because she didn't prepare me for this. She told me that babies would be hard, but she never told me that they would turn into teenagers. I was not mentally prepared for this.
And we both have. So our 4 children both come from our previous marriages. And so that adds an extra complicating factor to it as well. There's no doubt about it that there's huge, huge challenges with it, but I also love the stage. I love the ability that we have now to connect with the kids. I love how we're having more of a personal relationship and quality time with them. But there is a little story that I do want to tell about. So our daughter is 14 years old, and she was in a full hook verbal argument with our 9-year-old, and we're in our bedroom trying to get ready for work, and I'm like,
the first thing in the morning, of course, when you're trying to get them ready.
I've asked them to cut this out. I've had enough. This is ridiculous. And they are full hook at each other, just about like I'm thinking, great,
they're both yelling back at each other,
normally those two don't particularly like
They get along pretty well.
I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm thinking, gosh, this is going to go to fisticuffs. I have to go and deal with this. So I go out
in your
Zara,
underwear, like you were like, I
had my
mad
dressing
right
gown,
now.
and I'm going out to deal with it. And as I get halfway out, I hear Zara screaming at Levi, I love you more than you could ever love me times infinity. And Levi's like, no, I love you more than you could ever love me times infinity. And they're having this argument. And I just went and gave them the greatest hug, and it made my day, and I just had to walk away.
But the thing is, they developed this new game, and this new game is that the first one that says it in the morning to the other wins for the whole day, and you can't have another go till the next day. And we didn't know about this game until this point. And they were arguing that particular morning over who got it out first and who loved who more. And we just thought, like, what a beautiful thing. Like, it's rather rare these days that you go, what a beautiful argument to have. But the thing is, they do it every day and it gets quite competitive. So now you'll have one hiding in particular spots ready to pounce on the other, and you hear this great big kerfuffle every morning where one person screams it out at the other, and then it's over for the day and all quiet again. Everyone continues getting ready, and it's like, all right, I'll try again tomorrow.
so funny.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but, hilarious.
I'll take it any day. Do our kids have a favourite parent they go to that overturns the other's decisions? Yeah, in the other house.
Yes.
Did I just say that?
Oh my gosh. Yes, you did. It's so true. I think we're the mean parents. I feel like we're the mean parents, but I was talking to the boy's dad the other day and he said, I feel like I'm always the mean parent. I was like, oh, phew, it's both of us. Look, what about in our house? I think it depends on what it's about.
So I have a big thing about respect, and I think it's really important that we teach the kids that. So if we have a disagreement, we need to sort it out.
We tend to support the other person.
We try really hard not to undermine.
We don't agree with it.
Even if we don't agree, we'll actually go and work it out separately without the kids, and then the person who
and then you can see them all with their ears up against the door.
So let's say I put my foot in something, and Sam's like, come have a chat with me. So we head off and we have a chat about it. Instead of Sam undermining me in front of the children, we'll have a chat about it separately, and that'll give me the opportunity to go back and say, you know what, I've thought about this, and this is what I want to do instead.
And then they go, no, we were listening. No, but we are very careful about that and we don't get it right every time. There are lots of times that we stuff this up, but we do our best in front of the kids to always support what the other parent has said. And that comes back as well to being in a mixed family, because we have also had to be very mindful that, we've come in with different values and different ways of operating and sort of mushed everything together. And we have to stand together because
otherwise we end up playing that game, and that game's a really painful, like if they
will play on it. And I will say Levi, the youngest, does tend to play on me a little bit more than the others do, because he knows exactly what strings to pull. And because he's the baby, he tends to do a little bit better at that. So, there might be crocodile tears for me, whereas with Greg, he doesn't even bother going there. So anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing all of them now, eh? Oh, here we go. Stephanie says, where is your happy place? Yeah.
And I have to answer. Okay,
yeah,
so Lake Barrington, that's the place that I grew up, and I suppose for the others that grew up with me in that water ski club, I would explain that place as being our home. So for all of the kids that were basically born there and have grown up there, your house can change. You can move towns, you can move schools or whatever, but the one place that you come back to for those special family memories, those beautiful summer days, those escapes, that relaxation and that fun is always the water ski club at the lake. Yep. So I'm the second generation. Our kids are the third generation. And so for me, that is actually our real home.
Okay.
So that'd be my happy place. And Sam, you better answer yours.
Mine's the beach. And I do have a favourite beach, but I like all beaches. For me, there's something about the ocean and sand under your feet. And I was actually thinking about this last night because we went to the beach yesterday and it was very, very calm. And so we were sort of cruising around in the calm water. And the thing that just mesmerizes me about the ocean is the fact that it can also be so insanely wild.
Yeah.
So something that can be so peaceful and relaxing could also be very destructive. And, the ocean, I don't know, there's something when you're soul searching or when you need alone time, I just find that it's just the sounds, the smells. I just love the beach.
And it's funny, I'm starting to enjoy the beach more and more with Sam.
Yeah, when I first met Greg, he wouldn't go near sand. Hated
Well,
it.
I still, like yesterday, I had my feet in sand and I had to go and wash it off.
And then walk back into sand.
That blackboard sound when someone gets their hands like their way down the blackboard? That's what velvet and sand feel like on my feet.
Velvet on your feet?
Velvet on my hands,
so
sand
Greg
on my feet.
is afraid of velvet.
I'm not afraid. I just dislike it.
I was talking to someone from Lorraine Lee about this the other day because she wanted, she was suggesting that I get a velvet cushion for our new bed. I was like, I can't. And they went, I wonder what would happen if I did. All right. Okay, how many more questions are we going to do is the question because we've
How long have we got?
I don't know. Okay, so here we've got another one. Have you always lived in Tasmania?
I have.
I have not. I grew up in Mount Gambier in South Australia.
I was born in Burnie and I sort of travelled around Tasmania as a kid, and I always saved my holidays up because summer here is just heaven. Tasmania would probably be the best place in the world in summer. And so I'd save my holidays all winter so that I could enjoy the summer. But I never invested any of them in travel. And it wasn't until I got older that I realised how much I love to travel. I absolutely love it. And so I need a bit of both. So I've always lived in Tasmania, but since my eyes have opened up to some international travel, some national travel, it's helped me bring more things home and made home an even better place.
The thing I really love about being here is it's like a 50-minute flight to Melbourne, and then Melbourne connects you to everywhere. So, I grew up in South Australia, lived in Adelaide for a number of years, and, you could be driving for an hour and a half to work every day, and that was pretty stock standard. I think my commute was about an hour every day, and that was very normal. But the thing is that in Tasmania, you don't have that. So I love the country. I grew up in the country, so I can be in the country every day to live, but then I can get to the city really easily in order to work if I need to. But, over COVID, that's not even been an issue. We've just been at home. So,
what an amazing place. So we've been locked in here effectively nearly for the entire last year.
Yeah, we've got a moat and they used it.
Yep. And of all the places in the world to be stuck, what a blessing to be stuck here.
All right, next question, Greg. We'll do two more.
Oh,
this is a long one.
How do you build the right type of relationship when you're always working together? What happens when you aren't working together? Are all the conversations about work? Have you got a strategy to not talk about work, maybe for a week?
Okay, so we've sort of already answered that one. We just set clear boundaries. Don't talk about work in bed. My mobile phone doesn't come to bed, and we pretty much switch off when we go
I've got one little thing to reveal about me because I was really reluctant to join Sam in the business. And I kept getting cold towards it and I kept feeling it on my heart. But at the same time, I had concerns in this space because I value our quality time together and I value our connection. And I know that when you bring work into it, it can make it difficult to sort of separate that. So that was a great fear for me. But one of the things is that I also found that working together has helped us resolve some stuff that would have just sat on the back burner.
Yeah.
We could have got away with it. We would have just left it simmering there and we never would have actually learned those things about ourselves and brought that to the table in our relationship. So it's sort of working together has also in a way forced us to grow and develop and improve in our relationship in that way as well. It's not just the negatives that you hear people talk about of all the pressure and there's plenty of it and not being able to escape from it and whatever else. There is also the beauty of those things, which is that it does call you to sort that stuff out.
The other thing that's important too is we've made sure that we've got the right people in place to keep us accountable and take care of us as well, meaning that we've always had a business coach and we also have personal coaches outside of that the other doesn't relate to, meaning I have people I speak to and Greg has people that he speaks to. So we're able always to go to somebody to help us to untangle things that we're not sure about or to tackle certain circumstances and grow within ourselves while also making sure that we're growing together. And our business coach is, always making sure that we're understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses and working towards those as well. So,
and we've relatively recently brought a third person into the decision-making processes in our business. So if we can't make a decision together, we go to this person who we trust is very wise, and he is either able to talk us through something where we actually come to an agreement, or he's got the third vote that just sorts it out and we just end up going with the majority and that just sorts it out for us really well.
Yeah.
But oftentimes he might think of one thing and we're like, no, we really passionately stand on something else. And so we don't always go with what he says. Oftentimes we'll make a decision together, and that's just how it is. But that's been a powerful thing for us as well, because we don't just get stuck in a never-ending deadlock anymore.
Yeah. All right. So I've got one here.
Is that the one about the fight? Because that's the one I wanted to come up.
No, it hasn't. All right. You've seen some of these, have you?
No, I remembered just one. And I was wondering if it ever came up.
Well, this one here you do want. It's what's Sam's most annoying habit?
I don't even know.
What? Come on. I gave you two.
Oh, all right. No, because I'll get in trouble. It's not worth it.
I don't know. Go there.
Oh, really?
I think you should. You've opened up the door now. They're all waiting.
Oh, wow. I'm chicken.
I'm very curious to know. I actually want you to say it now. I could regret this, but I want you to say it.
Sam loves to guide me.
Guide you?
Yes.
What does that mean? Oh, controlling?
No, that I'm okay with. That's a key part of your personality, and I've learned to love it.
What do you mean guide you?
Criticism and complaint.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I think it comes out that way, but it's not how it's intended. Moving on.
See, I told you. I'm like a deer in headlights going, the car's going to crash into me.
Oh, that's a really hard one.
What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to us? To you?
Could be us. Surely you can think of something.
Oh, no, not on the spot.
Yeah,
no.
That's a really hard one. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to me? I feel like that's such a broad thing because, like, it depends on – actually, I will tell you something really funny that happened just recently, which probably isn't the funniest thing that's ever happened to me, but we've got so many stories. We do like to have fun, even though some people think I'm very serious. I do like to have fun. And anyway, you were out with because our older two have started working now. So, of course, backwards and forwards driving every night. And Greg's dropping the older two off to work. And my younger two are at home and they wanted to watch TV, and I really wanted to give them some tech-free time. And so I said, look, what else can we do? And the 9-year-old said, hey, Mum, I've got a game of charades that I've been wanting to play for so long. He got it at Christmas. And the thing that you might have heard me talk about before is that our boys, actually everyone, but our boys specifically, are very gassy. And it's this constant thing in our household. Like, I've got a rule at the dinner table that you hold it in or you go away from the dinner table. It doesn't happen at the dinner table. But anyway, I decided to say yes to playing this game of charades. And I'm thinking, there's nothing I could think of that would be worse at, 8:00 at night. I'm tired, but okay, I'm going to play charades. I'll have fun with them. And this particular game was one where you pull the card out and you've got to read what's on the card to yourself and act it out, and everyone's got to guess it. And you've only got a minute. You got to time. You had to time a minute, and you had to do as many as you could in that minute. So get as many cards as you could, and then you won those cards. So in this particular one, every couple of seconds, someone is ripping off a fart. And I was getting so cross. We were having fun with the game, but it was just constant. Our lounge room was stunk out. I was tired and grumpy. And I was just like, boys, seriously, I said, the next person that lets one go, game's over, everyone's in bed. Like, I got to that point. I was grumpy mummy at this stage. Next one that lets one go, and they both just looked at me and gone, okay, all right, we've got it. Anyway, it was my turn. And so I come up, Aiden starts the clock, and I pull out the next card. The next card is farting. I actually had to act out farting. And this is just seconds after I've said to them that the next person that lets one go is going to bed. That's it. And I was just the kids, all of us were in tears of laughter.
They were scared to say the word.
They were scared to say the word. I was acting it out, and they were like, we can't say what that is. So it's probably not the funniest thing that's ever happened, but it certainly was pretty funny.
Oh, that's gold. Well, yeah. I'd like to do this one last one. So do we spend time apart often doing our own hobbies, or do we do most things together?
We probably do most things together, don't we? We like some select things that we do alone, like you like to dabble in your shed, and I certainly don't follow you there. And occasionally I like to go, for a walk or a run by myself. That for me is, alone time is running, or not walking usually, mostly running. And you'll occasionally join me for that. But the thing is, we actually really enjoy doing most things together.
We miss each other terribly.
So we can get very frustrated, but we also miss each other. So there you go.
But it does actually bring up one of the secrets, and this might actually answer something. So what the trick to that is that we have the blessing of having two almost identical offices. So I have this incredible studio at home, which overlooks the river, and it's comfortable and it has everything I need, and I can wander back up to the house and put a load of something on or do a little job or whatever, and I can be like, I just love being able to be at home and work like that.
Yeah.
So I suppose the key is that we're trying to have that independent time at work, because instead of at home.
I will say that is why we work in two different offices, though, because we're able to separate. We actually separate not for hobbies, and after work we try and separate during work.
Because otherwise we end up being workmates instead of being married. So the key, I think, is that we take the time that we need apart and that space that we need to be ourselves as much as we can in work time, and we try and give each other as much freedom. I mean, Sam's gift and Sam's way of doing something, I love it, but I can't work in that space because I don't have space to be me. So Sam will boom down a microphone and eat my noise-cancelling headphones from the other side of the room, and I can do a couple of hours of that a week. And I do love visiting Sam in the office here, but I choose to spend my time at home so that I can do my thing there, and that lets me think. I love to think and come up with something that no one else could come up with. And then I put that in place, and Sam does her networking and connecting and chatting with people and all of that stuff. And then that way, when we're at home, then we can go off and be married.
So I've found, speaking of married, last question, because I found the one that you wanted, and there were quite a few more here, but you apparently had prepared for this one. So Greg, Kathy wants to know what was your biggest fight about?
I want to know what your answer to that, actually. I need to know your answer first.
I feel like there's probably lots that I could pick from. Probably the most odd one, which...
No, biggest.
Yeah, but probably biggest in recent times for the oddest of reasons was the last time we played a board game together.
Okay, yeah, that rates.
Yeah, I love board games.
I won't play board games with Sam anymore at all, full stop.
I love board games, and Greg is naturally quite competitive, as am I, but I would rather not compete and just be able to play the board game. Greg's like, no, there has to be a winner and someone has to win, and it has to be me. Anyway, I picked a board game that was recommended by a bunch of people called Cash Flow, which is it's actually designed off the back of the book that was written. It was by Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the book. It was designed to be an activity that would help people get better at managing their money by playing this board game again and again and getting good at it. And of course, the money man over here, Greg, who's very, very good with finances and numbers, a bit like Rain Man, your head works in a very different way, I think, to most people out there when it comes to numbers. But Greg, of course, was probably not the person I should have picked as being my first competitor with this game, because naturally he was going to win. But anyway, he said, look, I will play the game with you if
You sure it wasn't Monopoly this last time?
No, it was Cash Flow. It really was Cash Flow.
Because it's happened with Monopoly too.
It probably has. But he said that unless there's something on the end of the line, I'm not playing the game. Like, if I win, I have to get something. And I was like, that's it. I'm not going to let him win again. This was about time 3. He's won twice. I'm like, he's not going to win a third time.
Let's be fair. It had gone really badly for me. So my perception of this is that, like, if I'm going to play a game, it's okay for me to win. I'm allowed to try and win the game. That's the whole point of playing a game.
Yes, but this time you put a boat on the line.
No. So what happened was we had these 2 board games, and I think one of them was Monopoly, and both times I won, and Sam was a really sore loser. And she perceived that I gloated and I was really rude, and maybe I did a little bit, but I enjoyed winning because why play if you can't win it?
I can't see how this ended up being a fight, honey.
Like, I just smiled. All I did was smile, and Sam was like, no, you had to die, and you didn't die, and I died, and you had to die. And so I might as well have slept on the couch for days. And so that's how my experience with these 2 board. And she's like, you have to play again. I want to play. Why won't you play with me? You're not being my friend. All I want to do is play. Please play. Please play. I'm like, fine, but if I'm going to go through that pain again, there has to be some upside to it.
And so he showed me a photo of a boat he wanted, and he said, if I win this game, I get to buy this brand new $100,000 boat.
And then Sam...
And of course I said yes.
Sam agreed, and I'm like, hold up a minute, honey, hold up. So I got my phone out.
Recorded me
and
saying
I videoed Sam, and I said, Sam, I want you to consent to this video camera that I am buying, and I gave the model and the color of the boat, the engine specifications, the whole works. If I win this game, I get to buy this boat. And Sam's like, yes.
So the end of the story is he won and there was no new boat. That's it. The end.
And I wasn't happy.
Is that the part you're thinking of?
That'll do.
I feel like you've just left everyone hanging now, but we probably shouldn't go down that road, should we?
No, that was a better one.
That was a better one. Well, look, I this could have gone anywhere. There could have been lots of tears, but I feel like we both still love each other. I certainly still love you at the end of that.
Oh, I love you too.
So, look, guys, I just want to also say to everybody, because we're leading into Christmas now, if you're listening to this later, this still goes for you. But, for everyone listening to this episode when it comes out, massively wonderful Christmas and New Year's to all of you guys. I hope you have so much special time with your families. And I also hope you have some special time with yourself, because at the end of the day, and that sounded really wrong.
I didn't even look at you.
I just want you guys to spend some alone time. And one of the episodes actually in the lead up to Christmas that we'll be releasing is about doing things that soothe your soul, because you need to fill your cup up. So I'm certainly going to be spending some time doing that over Christmas, both by myself, doing some things that I love, whether it's going for a run or a walk, or, eating a packet of chips, or, doing some of those things that, you can just do in peace and quiet by yourself. So, and I'm sure you'll do the same.
Yeah. I'm not sure about all the stuff we've shared today. I'm just wondering what on earth anybody's going to do with it. Why would it be interesting? But I guess the thing is, we get asked these questions. So hopefully there is something in amongst all of that for you.
I hope you enjoyed the craziness. And look, at the end of the day, we wanted to lighten the mood up a little bit and, just have a little bit of fun. And, as much as there's been challenge, and we certainly talked a bit about that today, I've really enjoyed working with you over the last 12 months. I feel like we've had a lot of fun. We've made a lot of ground. We've learned a lot about each other and certainly about ourselves. And also, our business has, constantly been changing and growing. And I am so excited for what's going to come next year.
Me too. And I love that you just said it's been an exciting 12 months and wonderful to get to work together, because the thing is, it's actually 2 years now.
But I'm specifically referring to 2021. But okay, the last 2 years have been great.
Yeah. So, I was thinking, it didn't feel like forever, so it felt like less time than it was. And I'm thinking, oh, good me.
Oh my goodness.
I have loved. It has been quite a journey, and I've loved every moment of it. And I love you.
And maybe next year we can get back to playing some board games together.
When I get that boat.
I want a puppy. All right, guys, have an amazing Christmas. Have an amazing New Year's. And thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a listener this year. I hope that this podcast has been, inspiring, helpful, motivating. I know there's been so many different incredible guests, and a huge thanks to them as well over this last 12 months. So super excited to join you all again for an amazing 2022. But look after yourselves, everybody. Stay safe and have some really special quality time with your families. Bye for now.
God bless. Bye for now.